2015 may have been the most important year for Dragon Ball because we got Xenoverse, we got Resurrection F, and we got Super, a brand new series bringing back Dragon Ball. The Dragon Ball Renaissance was real. But 2016 gave us a crap load of new stories. So on this video, and very important stories, on this video, we're going to talk about the top 7 biggest Dragon Ball news stories of 2016 because so much history was made this year that it has to be covered. And I want to reminisce with all of you guys and let us know in the comments, of course, which of these stories do you think was the most important? Now, these 7 stories are in no particular order, okay? So we're not going to be going from best to worst or most important, least important, but we're just going to give you 7, then you tell us which ones you think are the most important. Now, joining me for this discussion, please welcome a guy who I've had people say that the only people they go to for news is me and him, and that's very kind of you, and I'm sure he appreciates it too. Please welcome Rhyme Style. Hey!
You mean you don't go to Blasting News for your source of Dragon Ball stuff?
How dare you say that name on this channel? That's like the name that shall not be said.
Voldemort. Also, I was going to say, if what we mentioned on this list isn't on your list, feel free to share down below as well what your favorite moments are as well. Let's toss it out there.
Yes, definitely let us know because we're going to discuss the whole year of 2016. Now, let's talk about some honorable mentions, okay? Honorable mention number 1, Geekdom and Forever will do a video with you. That's a big one.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Honorable mention number 2, Rhymestyle hits 400,000. No, I'm kidding. All right. No. For real.
The for real honorable mention is Dragon Ball Fusions.
Yeah,
and the only reason why why we didn't put this on our list is because I feel like Dragon Ball Fusions is one of those games that is so niche because it's only on 3DS, and not everybody here obviously has a 3DS. It's one of those games that if you finally go back and play it, you're going to love it. But not everybody's going to experience it. And because of that, it's not as massive, but it was the first Dragon Ball game in a very, very long time that was extremely different and so much freaking fun. And to this day, I gotta say, this is easily like one of the best Dragon Ball games of all time.
Yes, definitely pick that game up. Yeah, I bought a 3DS for that game and for Pokemon Sun, and it's been worth it. It's been totally worth it.
Yeah, it's literally Dragon Ball meets Pokemon. To those who don't know, it's like you walk around, you create your own character. There's like unlimited fusion potentials. You can recruit characters, which is basically like Pokemon's version of catching Pokemon or catching fighters. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, definitely pick it up. Another honorable mention I wanted to bring up too is the announcement of the Universal Survival arc. Now, this took place in 2016, but the arc won't begin until 2017. The reason why it did not make the list is because we don't know what the arc's going to entail yet. We don't know what episodes, like how long it's going to be, if it's going to be any good. So I think if the arc is a success, it'll definitely make the list next year. But the announcement was big, but I still think that it's not. I don't think it's as big as it should be.
Yeah.
Now, another honorable mention is the announcement of Dragon Ball Heroes becoming Dragon Ball or Super Dragon Ball Heroes. This is great, but the problem is that like 90% of you guys, including me and Dino, we can't play this game because we don't live in Japan. And I really wish that we did, but you have to understand, for the Japanese market, this is a big deal because Dragon Ball Heroes is what really, really catapulted Dragon Ball success in Japan for the Renaissance. Battle of Gods helped, Resurrection F helped, all that stuff was great, but it was Heroes that was literally pulling in money during the Dark Ages, and I think it should be mentioned at least as an honorable mention.
And I'm also hoping that they do end up following up and do the actual anime with it. Because from my understanding, they wanted to make an anime for it, but then just didn't.
Yeah, they were going to, but then they said we got Super. I do hope that we at least get... I wish one day they would bring the game over here, but you have to understand, guys, in Japan, and I had a buddy of mine, Dino, who just got back from Japan, and he told me some stuff about Japan. Japan's video game culture is so much better than it is here. There are arcades in Japan with like miles and miles and miles of machines from the past 3 decades, and these arcades have, and I'm not talking about kids playing these games, 45-year-old men smoking are playing like Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Like, I wish we had something like that here. We have a few places in the U.S. that are like that, but not like how it is in Japan, where you have like, entire skyscrapers filled with machines. That's how it is over there, man.
Which is why we don't have a Zenkai battle on consoles, because it's printing money in arcades in Japan.
Exactly.
But then again, hey, if Pokken can come out of consoles, I have faith that Zenkai can too at some point.
I love Zenkai Battle Royale, and I hope we get it one day. Not to mention that, another thing I wanted to point out why the Heroes thing is an honorable mention is because Xenoverse borrows a lot of its ideas from Dragon Ball Heroes. In fact, most of its ideas are from there. So I think it's important, that we talk about that. Now, Are there any other honorable mentions you've got?
Nothing off the top of the head.
Okay, well, if anything pops up, we'll talk about it. But let's talk about the top 7 Dragon Ball news stories of 2016. First one I want to dig into is one that's very close to your heart, and that is the Xenoverse 2 announcement and release. It is the sequel to the biggest Dragon Ball game of all time, and quite frankly,
yes, it did sell more than Tenkaichi 3, just in case you didn't know.
Yes. Not saying that one game is better than the other, but it did sell more. But
yeah, but the only reason why I wanted to drop the disclaimer is because I don't want people to be like, well, didn't Tenkaichi sell more? No, it didn't. It actually surpassed those sales.
Yeah, Xenoverse broke all the records. And Xenoverse 2 was announced. I know we had heard some scuttlebutt before it was actually officially announced that, it's coming. We talked about it, it might be coming in 2018, and we weren't really sure. But it was announced in May. Remember that funny little website that had those posters and, it was like the teaser website or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then finally it was announced, and then quickly we had both the Japanese and the English voice cast go in the studio, record their audio, and the game was released in October.
Yep.
So your memories of the Xenoverse 2 announcement, like I remember, I'm going to share this with everybody. You texted me and you said, when the announcement was actually made, you texted me and you're like, dude, we have videos we can make for 2 years now. And I was like, really? Remember you said that?
His response was, you have videos to make for 2 years. I don't really play Xenoverse. But I was excited about that. So the thing that makes Xenoverse so special is because this is for like the first time ever that a company from the anime gaming side actually really listened to feedback.
Yes.
Like, there's always a lot of criticisms for games like Naruto Storm, for example, where the developers don't really listen to what the fans want. Now, it is impossible to give the fans of something everything. Completely impossible. However, for what they gave us in Xenoverse 2 so far, they're doing a great job. They're giving us free DLC every single now and then, every couple of weeks. We got pack 1. Pack 2 will probably have a free pack as well. We got a lot of characters that we wanted, And on top of that, it's like you get to be yourself. You get to create your own character. Like, that was so freaking cool to me when I played the first game. And Cena basically take the first game and kind of just modify it to make it a lot better, more smoother in Xenoverse 2 is exactly what I want out of the game. Now, the launch of Xenoverse 2 was a bit wonky. I mean, that's what happens with Xenoverse. Yeah. But for the most part, what they did with the game is really good and enjoyable. And I kind of wait to see what else they got planned for us with DLC as well as future patches and events.
Yeah, and who knows what game we're going to get in 2017. I mean, they have to produce the game. We just don't know what we're going to get. There's all kinds of rumors about it. I'm
actually curious because to those who don't know, there is an annual game every single year. It's a contract with Shueisha. They have to do a game every single year.
Yeah, minimum 1 game. We usually get 2.
And it won't be it's a minimum 1 console game.
That's
so
right.
Fusions, for example, wouldn't have counted. Fusions doesn't count towards that.
And neither does Dokkan.
Correct. And neither does Dokkan. It has to be like a console game. And it's not going to be Xenoverse 3 next year, by the way. It's going to be something else. I have no idea what it is. I don't even know the smallest hint of what it's going to be. So I guess we'll find out hopefully in 2017. But for now, Xenoverse 2 getting announced is huge.
Yeah, they might not even know. Also, another quick honorable mention is the rise of Dokkan. I mean, last year, Dokkan was kind of like a thing that some people played. And this year,
it was a mobile game.
It's massive now.
A mobile game that skyrocketed. Now, granted, the game has over 100 million downloads, and it technically doesn't count because everybody rerolls. And what rerolls means basically is you start over, so you can use the starter stones to get like a good card from the start. So it doesn't really have 100 million downloads, but the fact that it's that active that people are always rerolling and playing constantly is crazy for a mobile game.
It's huge. It's huge. And as a result of that game, we've seen like Living Ichigo's channel just explode. And credit to him, he was playing the game early. And
he was. He was amongst the first.
He was one of the pioneers, man. So definitely a big shout out to him. So that's good for him. Now, next big story I want to talk about, it doesn't really pertain to us so much. It's more for the purists. Well, I am a purist, but I mean more for the pure purists who actually read Japanese. The Manga Digest edition came out in Japan. Now, the reason why this made the list and why it's so important is because this is the first time that we've ever gotten an actual reprint of the original Shonen Jump version of Dragon Ball. We've had the Kanzenban and the Tankobon come out, which are all, they are reprints, but they're not identical to the original releases. This Digest Edition or Omnibus Edition, and it's only available in Japanese for right now. I don't think that Viz should put it out in English because it's going to flood the market. We have too much other Dragon Ball, but it's important because it's like literally like taking the pages from the original Shonen Jump, including the typos and including like the Toriyama notes that were in the original page, and putting them back together. So it's like a time capsule, and I think that's very important for the collectors out there.
Yep.
Okay, next one. Big
Which,
one.
by the way, I had nothing to say about that one, so that's why we're just going to get to the next one.
Yeah, until we get a domestic release, there's not much we can say.
Exactly.
The next one's huge for everybody, for everyone.
Yes, massive.
Yeah, the announcement of the Future Trunks arc and the arrival of an actual, quote, evil Goku to Dragon Ball Super. This arc, of course, took up the majority of 2016 from May, I think it was May, all the way until November. We watched this arc, and we all just, it was week after week of us trying to figure out who Goku Black was. There were all kinds of theories, and it really, the reason why this made the list is because this announcement of the Future Trunks arc actually was such a huge thing for Dragon Ball that it brought fans who hadn't watched Super back to Dragon Ball. It brought them back into the series, and it actually was on Forbes. They covered this on Forbes, dude. Forbes.
Yeah. I think the funny part was just the arrival of Evil Goku finally. Just don't understand. Evil Goku has been kind of like this fan speculation theory, rumor that's existed since literally the 90s. People were always like, oh, what if one day we get an Evil Goku, yada, yada, yada. And it was like both me and Geekdom's least favorite of fan theories that have ever existed. Like, there's never going to be an Evil Goku. There's never going to be an Evil Goku. And what happens? They do an Evil Goku finally. But the other cool part was they brought back Future Trunks, man. Future Trunks.
Yeah, and I was going to say about the Evil Goku is that it wasn't... The thing that I was more pissy about was that it wasn't like Evil Goku, like Goku turns evil. It was a different Goku. And, you know, that's the big thing. That's what I liked about it. But, yeah, Trunks came back. And I'll be honest with you, when I first heard this announcement, I was excited, but I was also very, like, kind of apprehensive because it just came off so fan service-y. But overall, regardless of your opinion of the end of the arc, I think the arc, like the journey of us watching it week to week, I'm never going to forget that as long as I live, dude.
It was a lot of fun.
So, yeah, dude, it was so awesome. Keep going.
I'm willing to bet my right nut, and I say my right one because I lost my left one because I mispredicted who hired Hit in the last episode. But I'm willing to bet my right nut that the reason why they did the Trunks arc is because they just wanted to, like, jump into, like, the little fan servicey sides of Super. Because, like, I mean, they set up the Universe 6, or not the Universe 6, but the massive tournament, the Omniversal tournament, after the Universe 6 tournament, and then it didn't happen. Instead, we went to the Trunks arc. So I feel like they were probably like, you know what? Let's do this instead, and then we do the Omniversal tournament later. And I guarantee that's how it happened. And
I think that the return of Vegito should also be included in this particular entry, because it's all part of the same arc.
Yeah.
Now, the next one we have, I think is a big deal, and that is that Viz announced that the Super manga was going to come out in English. There is a digital release that's out now on Viz.com, which you can read absolutely free and legal, and we're getting a hard copy in 2017. And the reason why it's such a big story is because it's rare for Viz to get stuff this fast when it comes to Dragon Ball. But one thing that we're going to talk about here in this video time and time again is how surprisingly quick everything happened. And we're going to get to that here shortly. But it's good that we're going to have the Super manga out. And no matter what your opinion is, it's good that there's going to be a way for us to actually read it, you know, legally.
Yep.
Okay, next one. This one is one that I think is going to have really big implications for the future. Right now, it's still very early, but I think it's such a big story that it needs to be talked about, and that is the birth of the Dragon Ball / Shueisha story group. So we have a group of people in Shueisha who are now writing Dragon Ball stories to expand Dragon Ball, and we're not sure if they're going to take over from Toriyama or if they're going to create their own, you know, side mangas. We've seen the Yamcha manga already come out, but this could be a major thing because this could mean that we're going to get more Dragon Ball anime, manga, movies, video
Fingers
games.
crossed that we get the Dragon Ball Heroes anime.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if the anime for Dragon Ball Heroes ever happened, it wouldn't be like how it is with, you know, Dragon Ball Z, and Super and GT. The way Dragon Ball Heroes works is you have these kids who play these card games, and it's basically like Digimon meets Dragon Ball in a way, where they like get absorbed into the Dragon Ball world and they participate in the fights and stuff like that. It's kind of like that, but it's very different. Yet I could see this being very epic, especially once you get into the fights.
Yeah, I think it could be, but there's no official announcement on that one yet, just to make sure everybody knows. And the reason why I don't think we're going to see that at least not anytime soon, is because one thing that's been another big story of the year has been Toei's animation problems. That's been a very well documented story. Toei is still ridiculously overworked and behind. So for them to add another Heroes anime right now at this moment, I think is a huge mistake, because Super's already got animation problems, and if it does happen, it's gonna look like shit. I mean, because they're too overworked.
Yep.
But in the future, you never know. But no, I think this could be a big deal, because this is how, when you said, okay, this is the reverse of the Xenoverse announcement. When you texted me and you said, this will give us 2 years of content, I'm like, okay, this is going to give me 2 years of content now, because I want to talk about these side mangas and these side stories.
Didn't you text me the exact same thing that day? Like, this just got announced. This is like basically never-ending content for Dragon Ball. I think you did.
I did, and I was very, very happy about that, because I like talking about Dragon Ball. So,
yeah.
Let me go swim in my pool of money like Scrooge McDuck, right? All right, no. All right, next one.
That's a joke, by the way.
That's a joke, by the way. It's sarcasm. Thank you for clearing that up. The next one I think is a major one, and I don't think we've seen the ripples yet.
This is not at the bottom of your list, but I consider this probably the biggest one. But then again, everything we say is not in particular order, but go ahead.
Yeah, not in particular order, but this could be the biggest one, especially for the English-speaking audience. It definitely is. And that is the Buu Saga of Kai and Dragon Ball Super dub official announcement. It's coming out January 7th, I think it is, the first week of January. And this is major because, again, when Dragon Ball Z started, it was 1989. The first Z dub wasn't until 1995. Here we have the Super dub starting literally a year and a half or so after the series premiered. And it's the Funimation cast. We have the Toonami Asia dub too, but that one's for the Asian market. And then we have finally the Buu Saga of Kai and Super. I think this is huge because it's about time.
The reason why this is probably one of the most important ones is because, remember, everything Toei does, everything Bandai does, is all aimed at the Japanese market. What they release on the outside is based on what potential opportunity they see for making money, obviously. And if you guys don't support Dragon Ball Super globally, or the English dub, the US version or whatever, then all that says to Toei is, oh, the market over is now well. So this is why both me and Geekdom are so anti-piracy. We're all about Crunchyroll, watching illegally. If you have to watch a couple ads here and there while watching, Dragon Ball Super on Crunchyroll, Funimation, or whatever, so be it. If you keep supporting it officially, we get more stuff. We get more games. We get more merch. We get more moves. We get more stuff. Otherwise, what they'll see is, if they see that no one's supporting the official release in the U.S. or the rest of the world, all Toei will see is this, oh, they don't care. Well, back to Japan. We're going to go focus on Japan. And then all we have to do is focus on figuring out how to get the content because they want to release it to us officially. So it is very important that we support the series as much as we can in the West. Otherwise, we're not going to get that much content in the future.
No, absolutely not. And that's part of it's very important. What were you going to say?
And every number counts. If you're just that one person that thinks, oh, well, I'm just one person. What's one person, supporting it illegally going to do? Just remember, every time you think about that, you think like that, there's at least 100 others of you who will think like that too. So it's very important that we support the official release. Like I said, you don't have to necessarily buy it, but if you watch it on like Crunchyroll and Funimation or Daisuke, with the ads, like the free version, you may get an ad before watching it here and there. But again, for watching that one ad for like 5 seconds, you support the series officially, and you just tell Toei, like, hey, there's a market out here. Give us more stuff. Give us Dragon Ball Heroes, the localized version. Give us Zenkai Battle. Right. Give us this. Give us that. Right. Otherwise, if we don't, then you can't complain when we don't get cool stuff that Japan gets.
That's right. You need to support it because Japan still gets stuff that we don't get, and it's because of that kind of shit. Plus, that's the reason why Anime Blue is so expensive, because people like to pirate shit, and really you need to, like, even if you don't like the dub, when Funimation puts out the Super Blu-rays, they will be bilingual. You'll get both versions, and I think that's really important. I think that, it needs to be supported, which is going to go into our next one here. But one thing I also wanted to quickly point out about this dub announcement is that there are other dubs. The Israeli dub, I think there's a French dub. There are other dubs of Super that are already being produced, so that's good. But I think the big shocker, if you really study the financial numbers and the history of Toei and kind of Dragon Ball, the big shocker is the fact that the English dub of Dragon Ball Super, produced by Funimation, recorded at Okatron Studios, that one, they got the dub before the Latin Americans did. That's a major story because Dragon Ball's so much bigger in Latin America and they don't even have their dub yet. So that means that whatever relationship problems Toei may have had with Funimation seem to be rectified, but we don't really know for sure.
Yeah. And also, by the way, I don't know if you mentioned, but Kai 2. We got Kai 2.
I did mention that, yeah, the Buu Saga of Kai.
Cool.
Yeah, which it needed to come out because no matter what your opinion is on Kai, I don't like there being an incomplete Dragon Ball, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, you don't have to necessarily buy every single game or every single Blu-ray or whatever, because like I said, these Blu-rays do get expensive, but just support it officially. Support it officially. Like I said, Crunchyroll, Funimation, and Daisuke, they all have free services. Yeah, there's ads, but like again, for watching a couple seconds of ads, we get more content in the future.
And if you want it ad-free, crunchyroll.com/geekdom gives you 30 free days of no ads, and you get it in 1080p, which is the best possible. And there is a difference. There is a huge difference in 1080p Dragon Ball Super. It looks crazy better.
Yes, and while you're at it, if you do subscribe to Crunchyroll, you also get to watch it, the simulcast, every single week too. So an hour after it airs in Japan, it's already up on Crunchyroll with subtitles and everything. But then again, you can also watch that without ads as well, I believe. But either way, just support the official release.
Support the official release, yes. And then the number one, not really in order, but I would say that huge story is Dragon Ball Super going to Crunchyroll. That's the big one because we never thought we'd get a. I mean, I was shocked when that Anime News Network article came out. I was in shock.
Yeah.
Because we had heard nothing. But Toei doesn't like Funimation. There's been a lot of, rumors. I've talked about them in the past about issues with Funimation and Toei, right? And it's mostly Toei just being very difficult. It's not Toei versus Funimation. It's more so Toei versus, like, outside of Japan. So don't think it's like a personal thing. Same thing with Nintendo. Nintendo's very hard to work with sometimes. So Toei allowing Super to be on Crunchyroll, not just simulcast, or it's not really simulcast, but, not just on there, but having episodes an hour after they air in Japan. That's unprecedented because, Netflix will usually have a show like, the old seasons. You don't get the new ones sometimes. Sometimes you get the whole thing. Here, we're getting it right after it airs. That's unprecedented.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think it's just
also, I'm not going to get into details, but I do want to say much love and shout out to Ken Siro. I'm not going to get the details why, but he knows why. Batman.
I don't even know why, bro. Well, Batman. It's funny because there's a lot more about Batman that we can't talk about it publicly, but
yeah,
Batman's not just Ken Ziro, bro. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
But we do definitely. I will say this. Even though it's now legal, we do definitely. I am very thankful for Dragon Team being there to help us out. Now that it's legal, there's no need for them to be around, but they really did a great job. Thankless work, and of course, I do want to give a huge shout out to Herms specifically because Herms has done so much work for us this year, and it's a completely thankless job. I mean, it's not thankless, but he's doing it because he loves Dragon Ball and for no other reason. You don't get paid to be on Twitter, at least not yet. So I just think it's important for us to really show a lot of love to that guy. And, everybody who's helped out Anime AJ, Devil's Corpse, I think they deserve a lot of love because they've really informed us.
Yep.
So, all right. So what's your big story of the year? Did we miss anything? Is there anything that we think we should talk about? Anything at all?
I mean, just small stuff here and there. Obviously the merch that came out this year. I'm excited because I think this year is when they released the Beerus figure from Figure Arts as well as Whis. Whis came out in August. I think Beerus came out in March, and I was super excited about that. But outside of what we talked about, I think we got the gist of it, like the major part.
Yeah, the only thing else that comes to mind is like maybe if you want to talk about fan projects, we've seen the rumored, the Hyper Dragon Balls he's been worked on. We've also seen the rumored.
Which, by the way, today they released Piccolo as a DLC or a downloadable character.
It's not today. Today we record this.
Oh, right. The day we record this.
This going up today. Yeah, but should I edit that out? Nah.
No, it's fine.
No, but that's out. We also have the what was it? The Legacy of Goku 4 project. They want to get that off the ground. So,
which, by the way, before rumors start, yes, the company that made the Legacy Goku series is trying to do some kind of sequel, whether it is Legacy Goku 4 or a remake from the original games. There is no ground yet or what they're going to do, but they are looking to create something, and they're trying to fan fund and stuff like that. So as of right now, we have no idea what's planned. It just they have a vision for making another game, And once actual news comes about that, I will let you guys know.
Yes, and they want to make it, but you're right, it's not official yet. But they want it,
Yeah.
and I think I want it too, bro. Honestly,
I definitely want it. Legacy Goku series is amazing.
yeah, I actually hope that they remix the Bruce Faulconer music. Remember how they did that? They remixed the Bruce music.
Yeah,
It was kind of
I
cool.
want to see them do that with Sumitomo stuff. That'd be dope.
I know. That would be awesome. Yeah, on 3DS. All right, well, we'll see what happens. Anyways, folks, thanks for checking out the video. Of course, Rhyme Style, you should know by now. Check out his channel and let us know in the comments what your biggest story is of 2016. And who knows what's going to happen in 2017.
Oh, we did forget one.
Which one?
Champa was introduced this year.
I thought it was late last year.
It was late last year, technically, but it didn't start airing until this year. It was January 28th when they did it, wasn't it?
Well, that's my favorite character, bro, and I feel ashamed that I didn't remember that was this year. But
yeah, well, the thing is he was announced last year when they initially revealed, Super. Yeah. But the reason why it's a big deal is because it's the first look at another god, and it's just so much potential for story growth and just, taking a story from point A to B to C to D. So that's another one I want to toss out there as well.
Well, I told you about putting the Omni King on the list, maybe. That's a huge one, I think.
It is. If Omni King was more left-sided just because we didn't expect it. It's like, oh wow, that's actually a lot. The reason why Champa is a big deal is because they introduced the multiple universes back in 2013, and this is our first look at another universe outside of Universe 7. That's why that was a bigger deal than Omni King.
Yeah.
But then again, that's just my own opinion. So if you guys think that Omni King is a bigger deal as an announcement and then Champa, then I guess just discuss it down below.
And the return of Arale to Dragon Ball is also pretty big. 2 episodes, in fact. So,
yeah.
So much stuff. Hopefully that means we'll get a Dr. Slump.
Who would win a fight, One Punch Man or Arale?
Arale, bro, easily Arale, bro. But none of them can hold a candle to Popeye.
That's true.
I may do a video about that later.
This man punched you through a comic once.
Bro, Popeye gave the sun a black eye. Superman Prime can't do that shit. All right, well, we'll talk to y'all down the road. Let me know what you guys think down below. And Happy New Year to all of you.